Good day. Welcome back to the Hipkins Twins YouTube channel. And today's topic, World's Fairs. More specifically, the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Now, this World's Fair was also known as the World's Columbian Exposition, as it celebrated the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus arriving in the so-called New World. So it was represented by 46 countries that had exhibits. Each country had their own building, or they had an exhibit inside of a building. And most of the states also had their own exhibits in buildings. And it was attended by over 27 million people from April to October. I mean, it was only open for one season. And it was actually another fair in Chicago that was held in 1933, and that one was called the Century of Progress. It was, so it was 40 years after this one, and it was held not at the same location, but it was held on an island in Lake Michigan. It was a man-made island they had constructed specifically for that fair. But this fair was it was notable for a few firsts. The first Ferris wheel was constructed here at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893, and some notable attendees: Helen Keller, Scott Joplin played his music there as ragtime, and even Harry Houdini had a magic show in one of the exhibits at the fair. So it was it was quite a production, and very popular for the time. But most of the buildings had specific displays. For instance, there were buildings that were dedicated to agriculture and industry, art, transportation. And I believe the only building that still exists, or there may be a couple of buildings, I think a few of them were moved to different locations, but the Museum of Arts at the fair still exists. It's now called the Museum of Science, so it's still there. And I'm going to show you a little bit about this book. This book is in pretty rough condition. Its binding is broke, and see the back has come off of it. So I'll just put that aside, and it's got some tells you a little bit about some of the things at the fair. But this is pretty interesting. It's got illustrations, and I've had this for a long time. It's got illustrations. The first one is Columbus landing, I guess in Hispaniola. And this illustration shows the fairgrounds and a lot of water, as you can see, because it was on Lake Michigan. And this building here is the Manufactured Liberal Arts Building, if you can see it. And this is the building. This is Machinery Hall. And here are a couple of other buildings. I don't know what they are. I guess they're a view looking over the lagoon. It's probably a man-made lagoon. Here's one. Here's the administration building. And I guess it was a battleship out in the out in Lake Michigan there that was a attraction. Here's some of the state buildings. And there's a country building. It's Germany. That's the only one in this book, I believe. The rest of them are state buildings. So it's a pretty interesting book. Probably not worth that much because the binding's been snapped on it. But it's a little good good piece of nostalgia and memorabilia. But so yeah, that we'll see you next time.